We were the front gun truck, and somebody was able to sneak up beside us. I immediately knew what it was. I started to crank my turret around to engage the enemy. I got 2 cranks into it. I mean, I barely turned and he just exploded. I knew I just got hurt, and my first thought was, well, I guess I'm never going to get to see my boys grow up, and here I am.
4 years ago, Sergeant Darron Mikeworth came as close to dying as anyone could imagine. Thousands of miles away in Louisiana, a group of soldiers gathered on his wife's front porch.
I opened the door. The chaplain said, "Can we come in?" And I said, "No." And he said, "You need to let us in." And I said, "No, I wouldn't let him in." Like, complete denial. If you don't tell me it didn't happen. And finally, after like 4 tries, when it talked to him, I just kept telling him no. The chaplain leaned over and said, "He's not dead. Can we talk now?"
Mikeworth wasn't dead, but he had been severely burned, his right arm badly deformed, his nose and left eye were gone entirely, and nearly every bone in his face was broken. For weeks, Mikeworth would lay unconscious in a hospital bed. Then 2 days after waking up, he stood before a mirror to take a look.
When I got up to the mirror, I could tell that, I was going to be different for the rest of my life. And it was just one of those things that, this is the reality of it. And if I'm going to move forward, it's just one foot in front of the other.
Immediately, the soldier in him took over and the painful rehabilitation began. But after dozens of surgeries, while he was healing, Sergeant Mikeworth still looked nothing like his old self.
I'll praise the Army Medical on saving life, limb, eyesight. They saved his right arm, no doubt about it. They rebuilt internally his face. They did a wonderful job. They're just not equipped for this kind of medical care.
Mikeworth says he didn't care about his appearance, but he yearned to be normal for his sons and wife. He understood the stares and looks he'd get while venturing out, but could hardly bear them.
There was a time that, he was uncomfortable going out to the mall or to restaurants, or about the only place we could go is the movie theater because everybody's staring at the screen, not him.
He's left with some thickness here.
That's when the family heard about Operation Mend, a new partnership between Brooke Army Medical Center and UCLA.
When he came to see us, he was left without any lower eyelid on his left side. His left eye was gone. His nose was partially reconstructed but was still deformed, and he had a number of smaller scars deforming his lip.
Doctors Timothy Miller and CHRISERA designed a plan to reconstruct Sergeant Mikeworth's face. Dr. Miller is a Vietnam vet.
It's impossible to, I think, read books, see movies, hear stories about war. You have to see it, you have to be in it to really appreciate how bad it really is.
Miller's military service inspired him to work on Operation Mend, helping injured soldiers get a quality of plastic surgery they otherwise wouldn't have access to.
We owe so much to these young men and women, we've operated on 2 women so far, to give them the best possible reconstruction they can have, and that's our goal.
Mikeworth has just a few more surgeries to go as the UCLA doctors fine-tune his nose. For him, their work has been just as life-changing as that bomb blast 4 years ago.
One of the things I like about these surgeries is that I can move about more normally without every head turning and trying to figure out what they just saw. Every day above ground is good as far as I'm concerned, and I've got my family here, and I'm glad to still be breathing with them. And I'm glad I get the opportunity to stay in uniform.
Yes, even though he could retire with 80% disability, Mikeworth won't leave the service. He'd even like to go back to the front lines if the Army will let him.
This is just a job I want to do. And the enemy didn't kill me yet, so I'm just going to keep on doing my job.
Rich Matthews, The Associated Press, San Antonio, Texas.